Alright, let's start. Let's do the Romans and American government. This is part 2 of the Greeks and the Romans. You get to see me again here with my big blank white wall at home. But let's get this started. Again, less than 5 minutes. We got a little bit of a PowerPoint, so let's get started here. Turn off my webcam. Alright, let's take a look. The Romans and the ideas of the American government. Why do we start with this and why do we look at that? Well, because the Romans actually had what we called a mixed system. Much like we talked about in Plato with the ancient Greeks, there was a bit of a monarchical power and the idea of the president, aristocracy and the idea of the Senate and even perhaps the court system, and then the rule of the common people, which would be just like the House of Representatives. Not unlike what we saw in that Socratic seminar reading from last week. If we look at the Roman Republic, there's one key feature that we want to take out of this, and that is the idea of classical republicanism. And classical republicanism has 3 parts to it. We'll go really briefly through this. The first is that for all of government to work, it has to be done in small, uniform communities. What this does is it creates connections between people. It relieves factions because you're not going to be interested in only your group of people. Everybody's in it together, and everybody's basically alike. They basically have the same value system. Everybody's basically of the same wealth and class level. Not something that we really see here in the United States, but it's something that in the early colonial times, as they were getting ready to write our Constitution, it did look like that. The second piece of classical republicanism is another key, very key piece that we see in American government, and that is civic virtue. Civic virtue is simply setting aside the personal interests of yourself for the good of the community. It's something that's saying, civic mindedness is more like selflessness, taking your self-interest and putting it aside. They also looked at civic virtue as a key part of being a citizen. And citizenship was not a right. Citizenship was a duty. It was a series of things that you did in order to be considered an active citizen of the state. Cincinnatus in the Roman Republic was a key figure for that. He was elected to serve twice, not out of choice, but out of duty he served. And that's why many people call George Washington America's Cincinnatus. By the way, Cincinnati's named after Cincinnatus. When you look at civic virtue, there's a couple of words that can describe it. If you Google citizenship, this is what you get. Yes, that's civic virtue, being a good citizen. If you Google philanthropy, this is what you get. Philanthropy is the idea of reaching out and giving of yourself, giving of your time, talent, and treasure. Perhaps it's stewardship, taking care of that which has been given to you, nurturing it and letting it grow. Perhaps it's volunteerism, stepping outside of your daily life and going and helping somebody. Maybe it's local, maybe it's international. Whatever the case is, it's stepping outside of yourself. The third piece is moral education. Moral education is not in the sense of like biblical morals, like 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, those kinds of religious morals. Instead, it's learn the values of society, what do you value, and how does that lead you to a path of civic virtue. In a sense, it's learning what it means to be a good citizen, and that is why you are in this class. That's a question I want you to ponder, and then after you've watched this video and thought about it, submit it on that Google form below the video. Why does the state require you to take a semester-long class of American government and not simply just pass a citizenship test? Wouldn't it be easier to take a one-shot test to prove that you know the facts? Alright, we're back. Hopefully you've taken a little bit from that. What I want you to do is don't forget to think about that question and submit it on that Google form. Until next time, we'll see you later.